Yo, what's up guys, MegaPele here, and I'm back bringing another Pokemon, a Mega Ruin Pokemon Alpha Sapphire Wi-Fi battle for you guys today. So today I have the most epic, the most intense, the most awesome Wi-Fi battle for you guys. 60 turns, absolutely fantastic battle. This game was going to and fro. Sometimes it looked like I was going to win, other times it looked like he was going to win. Didn't like how it was back in my hands, didn't look like he was going to win. It was so close, so enthralling, and as you can see by the team matchup, his team is extremely threatening to mine, particularly his Mega Sceptile. He does have a Blob and a very nice defensive core of Rotom and his Land OT, which does work extremely well versus my team. But nonetheless, this is a fantastic battle, and I definitely know you guys are going to enjoy. So if you do, make sure you smash that like button. Don't forget to comment on what you think to this awesome battle. And of course, subscribe if you want to see more. So let's just get straight on into this battle, shall we? I'm actually going to start it off with my Landorus tee, so I do notice he doesn't have a Defogger on his team, and I definitely want to get up my rocks for when I'm pressuring him, and of course for his Dragonite to break that thing's multi-scale. He also leads off with Landorus, so right off the bat we trade off Stealth Rocks and Intimidates, revealing that it's not actually a Scarf, which is what I was actually expecting this Lando to be based off his team. So knowing full well he outspeeds me, and I know full well I was going to want to switch on out there, go for that U-turn, go out into his Rotom Wash. I'm actually going to go for the U-turn on my own, predicting that, which is going to work out great as I do manage to get a little bit of damage off in combination with the Stealth Rocks and the U-turn. Going to go out into my Latios now, and here what I'm actually going to do, I was debating on whether to go in for the Defog, as I actually don't want his Rocks up, as he can pressure me a lot based off his team, and I actually just decided to go straight for that Draco Meteor, expecting his Heatran, completely ignorant to the fact that he has a Bliss on his team, but thankfully I actually score a crit. Not going to matter at all in the long run, as of course this thing does of course have a great recovery in the form of Soft Boil. So I'm actually going to just use this as a perfect opportunity to go for the Defog, because like I said, I don't want to have Rocks on my side of the field, as his team can potentially pressure me a lot and I will be forced to switch out a lot. But I do necessarily want to get Rocks for his team, of course. So I'm actually going to pull a switch on out now. I'm going to my Ferrothorn just to kind of scout what kind of status move this thing is in fact running, but it actually reveals the Flamethrower, predicting that. Very nice play on my opponent's part, as it's a solid free KO after the lefty. So I'm going to go out into my Landorus now, just to take this secondary Flamethrower, and then use this potential opportunity to set my Stealth Rocks. But knowing full well they want to capitalise on that, on my predicted Rocks, I know he's going to switch on out either into his Rotom or even his Landorus. So what I'm actually going to decide to is go for the U-turn, as I don't want to give him any momentum, because if he does go into his Lando, then he can easily get up his Rocks again, and I'll be forced to defog them again later. So I'm actually going to go out to my Greninja now, use this as a perfect opportunity to actually bait in his Blissey. And I am actually running a mixed Greninja with a lot of attack investment and an expert belt, so I'm going to go straight for that low kick. And this does a hell of a lot to this Blissey. Unfortunately though, based off the initial low kick and after the lefties, I'm not going to be able to quite take out this Blissey, which had it Rocks up, this thing would have been easily 2-hit KO, but that's not going to be the case, and he's going to freely be able to soft boil now. So what I'm going to do is make quite an aggressive play. I'm actually going to switch out into my Lopunny, expecting him just to go for the soft boil again, but it actually pulls a double, goes out into his Rotom, I guess trying to take a low kick, which would also work out well for him. So I'm going to use this as a perfect opportunity just to go for the fake out, just to get the free Mega Evolution off and get a little bit more damage off on his Rotom Wash. So here what I should have actually done, I should have definitely gone for the return, predicting his switch, as he's only switching his other from my Lopunny is in fact his Landorus. I'm not actually running the Ice Punch, otherwise I'd have definitely gone for that. But I do just play it safe, at quote unquote safe, and just go straight for the high jump kick. So here what I'm going to do is actually go into my Latios, on the off chance he does decide to one-set up his Rocks, or double on out into his Rotom, predicting my Greninja. It will work out fine for me, and he does decide to double on out into his Rotom, which is great. Obviously I get the great matchup and just go straight for that safe side shot, which is a 2-hit KO on his Blissey, and he actually decides to bring in his Heatran now, and based off that damage I'm actually expecting this to be a more an offensive Heatran, so potentially Shed Shell offensive, or even choiced in some way. So I'm actually going to switch on out into my Rotom Wash just to take that Hidden Power Ice, which works out great for me. And now what I'm going to do, knowing full well I was going to switch, I'm actually going to Volt Switch on out of there, as he switches on out into his Blissey, which does give me the initiative once again for me to go back out into my Lopunny, and I'm actually running a sub variant of Lopunny, so I'm definitely going to go for sub, predicting switch on out there, because even at -1 my Mega Lopunny does a whole lot to his team, as he's going to bring in his Landorus now, get off the Intimidate, like I said, get me down to -1, which is nice for him. But what I'm going to do is go straight for that return, as I do a decent chunk actually, considering this is a fully physically defensive Landorus and I'm at -1. I do a solid 25 to 30%, which is great. He actually goes for U-turn, a little bit of a misplay on his part, as he's not going to be able to break my sub, but he's going to U-turn out into his Blissey, try and bait me into going for the high jump kick and pivot around back out into his Landorus, which isn't going to be able to get off the Intimidate, but I'm actually going to predict that pivot and go straight for the return again. And look off, based off that damage, I was hoping and praying that a secondary return would actually knock this Landorus out, but unfortunately, thanks to his leftovers, it does live with a smidgen of HP and is going to be able to break my sub now with the Earthquake. And here, what I should have done, what I definitely wanted to do, was actually made a very aggressive play going straight for high jump kick, predicting this Heatran. But I do just play it safe and go straight for the return, as I do want to get damage and I do want to actually pick off the Landorus. But he makes a smart play and actually saves his Landorus. And it turns out here that his Heatran is in fact Scarf, completely takes me by surprise, bops me, blows me all the way back with that Fire Blast. There's a whole lot to my my Mega Lopunny, but I'm going to preserve my Lopunny for later, as it's still definitely a threat to his team. And here I actually go out into my Rotom just to take that, and I actually go for the Volt Switch, as he actually beats that guy and switches ground types into water types. But it's going to work out fantastically well for him, as his Landorus is going to be able to outspeed me and actually set up my rocks, which will means my Lopunny will die upon switching. So I'm going to be forced to defog them away. So I'll go for the Hydro Pump, expecting just to take out this Landorus, but I miss, and this miss is actually going to be crucial, as I'm going to be forced to play around now his Landorus, which is a huge threat to my team. Had I got rid of his Landorus, I could have easily just defogged away against the likes of his Blissey or even his own Rotom, and then been able to set up my own rocks for free and keep them up. But that's not going to be the case, as now I know he's going to go for the U-turn. I'm actually going to Volt Switch, go into my Latios, because like I said, I do need to get off the defog. But with me missing this Hydro Pump and me being forced to play around this, the rocks are going to start to whittle down my team very slowly. He's going to be able to keep initiative and momentum. That's unfortunate for me. So here I did a calc. I do know I can live any hit, even a HP Ice. So I just decided to go for that Roost and scout out what his Heatran wants to lock himself into. My best switch obviously is my Rotom Wash. So that's the switch I'm going to play now, as it goes straight for the Flash Cannon. And here, as opposed to going for the Volt Switch again, what I'm actually going to do is hard switch on out into my Lopunny. On the off chance he does decide to want to make the switch on out into his Blissey this time around, I will obviously have the best matchup. And if he does make the switch back into his Lando, trying to get up his rocks again, the Intimidate will have gone off on my Rotom, and I will easily be able to take out with a return. Coming from my Lopunny now, so that's exactly what I'm going to go for, as he does make the switch into Lando. And I'm finally able to take out this Landorus, the first Pokemon down, halfway through, turn 31. But this grants him a free switch into his huge threat, his Mega Sceptile. I do know though, a high jump kick will kill, considering I don't get a low roll. But unfortunately, as you can see, I completely missed the Mega Sceptile, and this is huge, as that even if I had not got the high roll and taken this thing out, the damage off on this Mega Sceptile would have been crucial. But that's not the case, as now I'm forced to check this thing my Landorus. The range of HP my Landorus is that I do know I can live any hit coming from his Mega Sceptile. So it is my main check to this huge threat now. And I do go for the U-turn on his incoming Rotom and get the free switch out into my Latte. Just going to go straight for that Side Shock, as like I did mention, it is a 2-hit KO in his Blissey. So he actually decides to go out into his Heatran here. And I was hoping and praying I could live. I was confident I can live, and I do with 1 HP. And I am able to take care of this Heatran now, which is fantastic for me. I was able to trade off this Heatran from my Latte, which works out perfect. So that Heatran was a huge threat being Scarf, as it outspeed the majority of my team. In fact, outspeed my whole team. So I actually go into Landorus now, and here I probably make the play of the game. I actually go for a knockoff, extremely risky, predicting him to be Resto Chesto, because I haven't seen lefties, and it works out fantastic, as I do manage to knock off his Chesto Berry, meaning this Rotom here is asleep. But unfortunately for me, I don't feel like the game is in my favour, as he still has that Mega Sceptile, and I do just go straight for the Stealth Rock now, using this as a perfect opportunity, as he makes a nice play and goes out into his Dragonite, which is definitely one of his win conditions, and as based off his team, this thing is definitely going to be a DD variant. I was just seeing he has set up a Dragon Dance, and I U-turn out now. I'm forced to go out into my Rotom Wash, as opposed to staying in with my Landorus and taking hits, because I need my Landorus to be healthy. So I do know that I can live a +1 Dragon Claw. Had he ran Outrage, then unfortunately I would have gone down, but I can play around with that with my Ferrothorn and the Leech Seed Toxic Shenanigans. But I do manage to get off the burn on the Dragonite, quote unquote crippling this Dragonite, which is great for me, as I go into my Ferrothorn now, just expecting to go for a secondary Dragon Claw, try and get off Iron Barbs and try and get off the Leech Seed recovery, because I do need my Ferrothorn nice and healthy. But he pulls a double into his Blissey, which is nice. So I'm going to make the switch now, go out into my Rotom, not want to take a Flamethrower, as he predicts that very nicely, reveals a Aromatherapy, which is great for him, turning this game again in his favour, as his Dragonite is cured of its burn and his Rotom is also cured of its sleep. So I do know I can use this as an opportunity to actually go for that pain split, and I get a lot of HP back as he reveals a Toxic as his final move, as his status move, which is pretty much going to wear down and cripple my Rotom Wash, which is a little unfortunate for me. But what I'm going to do now is actually just go straight for the Volt Switch and try and get a little bit more chip damage off on Volt Switch and out there, knowing full well is most likely just going to go for a Soft Boil. I'm actually going to go out into my Greninja now, as I am obviously packing the low kick like I've revealed before. But what I'm actually going to do is, opposed to going for the low kick, I'm actually going to decide to go for the Gunk Shot here. I expect him to go into his Rotom, and if he did decide to go for the Toxic, then I would of course be immune, becoming Poison type. But unfortunately I do miss the Gunk Shot on this Rotom, which could have potentially been a huge, as you guys will see later on. But now I'm going to go out into my Ferrothorn, as he's actually going to pull a Hard Switch, go straight onto his Blissey again, which is going to work out nice for him. And again, like I said, I do need to keep my my Ferrothorn healthy to potentially take a Hidden Power Fire coming from his Mega Sceptile. So I'm going to be forced to switch now, go back out into my Greninja, predicting the Flamethrower, as he knows that he needs to get damage off of my Ferrothorn and just go straight for that safe Flamethrower. So once again, this is a little bit of a rinse and repeat. I am going to go straight for the Gunk Shot this time, and thankfully I do hit. And to make up for this, I actually score a crit, which is fantastic for me. It's going to do a lot to this Blissey, and he did actually go for the Poison, which is perfect, as it is in the range now where a secondary Gunk Shot will kill. The reason why I went for Gunk Shot here and risked the Gunk Shot miss as opposed to going for the low kick, as it could have potentially gone back out in his Rotom, and like I said, I do need damage off on that thing. But out comes his Dragonite now. I do know I can live in E-Speed, and I can easily retaliate back and take this thing out with an Ice Beam. So Greninja putting in some late game work now, which is fantastic. And down goes his Dragonite. Out comes his Sceptile though. Definitely one of his win conditions, in fact. And I'm going to be scared out at this point and actually go out into my Rotom. Primarily his Death Fodder at this point, as my Rotom doesn't do anything against his last two, being his Sceptile and his own Rotom. So I'm just going to, like I said, sack this thing off to a secondary Dragon Pulse right now, and get a free switch into my Landorus, as it is still in the range of HP where I can live any one hit, and I am obviously packing the U-turn, which does a solid 80% to this thing, I do believe. So I was actually hoping to go for the Leaf Storm, which I do know I can live, but he makes a smart play and actually goes for the Dragon Pulse. Had he gone for the Leaf Storm, I could have easily up a -2 Hidden Power Fire with my Ferrothorn and taken this thing out. But that's what I'm going to be forced to go out into now, go into my Ferrothorn, and I'm forced to protect here just to stall, get a little bit of HP back to the point where I can guarantee I can live a Hidden Power Fire. I'm confident my Ferrothorn can live it, and it does go for that. And I do manage to, which is fantastic, pull through, take this thing out with a Gyro Ball. This huge threat is gone, and down goes his Mega Sceptile, bringing him down now to his last is Rotom Wash, where I'm down to my last three, my Ferrothorn, my Greninja, and my what's my last? I forget my last, but yeah, I do unfortunately here miss the Toxic, which could have potentially been crucial, as you guys will see. But thankfully he actually misses the Hydro Pump, which makes up for it, as it could have potentially stalled me out with his Rotom Wash. It was actually down to the last 5 minutes on the timer, so it could have easily stalled me out, as we have already established as a Resto Chesto variant. With no Chesto Berry left, but it can easily rest up. But thankfully I did manage to land that secondary Toxic, and I'm actually going to be able to go into my Landorus now, which is a Pokemon I was forgetting. I am forced to go into my Landorus, and I'm forced to go for knockoff, supposed to go for the U-turn. Had I gone for the U-turn, I cannot go out into my Greninja, because I need my Greninja to take care of this Rotom. So after knockoff though, I will put into the range where Dark Pulse would have killed. So it was unfortunate I did miss the Hydro Pump, but it's not going to matter at all, because like I said, after that knockoff, it could have taken me out, and then my Greninja would have been able to just go straight for that Dark Pulse, not risk missing, and win the game. But so it's going to be double down and leaving me with my last, my Greninja. So that's an extremely close 1-0. So definitely enjoy this game. Hope you guys did too. I feel as though I did extremely well to claw this victory back, as I was forced to play very aggressively in order to do so. And I feel as though with some of the hacks, particularly the high jump kick miss from my Mega Lopunny, I felt at that point I'd actually lost. And particularly his Landorus T was a huge threat to me, and not getting the Hydro Pump off on that early on definitely forced me and sent me back a lot. But I definitely feel as though I managed to turn this game around and enjoyed this so much. I really hope you guys did too. If you did, be sure to leave a like, smash that like button, in fact, comment down below, and of course subscribe for more. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.